So today, we are filing an amended lawsuit naming the alley and its two owner-operators, David Crowley and James Poole, in addition to Andrew Dimitri. Because without the alley's overservice and Mr. Crowley and Mr. Poole's lack of training and supervision of their employees, this tragedy never happens, because the match that was Andrew Dimitri never gets lit. As an update on Travis, his fortitude and positive outlook on the situation have been simply inspiring. He continues to heal and undergoes therapy for his injuries, but as he and I often speak of, he's going to need a lifetime's worth of care and rehabilitation. We are working to get him the justice he deserves so that he can take care of himself and relieve the burden on his family, which remains his #1 priority. So today with this lawsuit, we take one more step towards justice for Travis. Thank you. Glad to take any questions you might have. Good?
I would say when something like this happens, how often are you all filing these kinds of lawsuits? And is this a problem that you see systemic through this area?
Yeah, we have a systemic problem in Charleston, particularly with overservice. You all have obviously covered some of the stories that have happened just over the course of the last 2 months with severely intoxicated patrons of bars being overserved, being allowed to leave, getting behind the wheel, and then killing or injuring, maiming members of our community. And so it is a systemic problem, and you know, frankly, there seems to be no repentance for it. In this case, just to give you an example, we've been working with the insurers of the alley and the alley itself for months, provided them sworn statements from people that were at the alley that evening that said it was evident when he was being served that Mr. Dimitri was already intoxicated, and that have said that they continued to serve him. We have video evidence of that. We have sworn statements to that effect. We've done everything that they've asked, including participating in a pre-suit mediation, and still they've only offered 12.5% of their policy limits, which are not even Travis's medical bills. Travis's medical bills and damages are now in the millions of dollars. His medical bills alone, just from his initial stay, is over $1 million. And they refuse to do the right thing. And so without these types of lawsuits and without this community speaking up and saying, we will hold these establishments accountable in order to make sure injured people are taken care of, this will continue to occur.
And from my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, right now in South Carolina, these type of lawsuits seem to be kind of the only after effect remedy. What kind of laws or rules or trainings do you think might help this problem on the front end, something to require bars to do that would prevent these situations?
Yeah, so to be clear, this isn't a problem at every establishment. There are trainings in place. There are tips trainings that servers can take. There are management techniques that some bars undertake. There are things that can be done to ensure that people are not overserved. But in this case, this was not simply a case of the alley serving an intoxicated person. The alley in this case got him intoxicated. They served him more than enough drinks themselves through a single point of contact with the bar to get him over intoxicated, and so that's what really lit the match for the entire evening. But there are things in place, and they need to implement those things. You know, Mothers Against Drunk Driving has its own additional training and resources that establishments can use, and that's all we're asking for, is for them to do the right thing, insurance companies to make sure Travis is taken care of, and the establishments to make a change so that this does not continue to happen.
I guess lastly, I know you've talked about it before, but you know, what does this mean to the family? You touched on a little bit about how Travis is doing, but you know, they were obviously prompted to file this. How are they feeling now, and what's their next steps?
So frankly, Travis did not want to file a lawsuit against the alley. He wanted to get on with his healing and put this chapter behind him, and we've been working with them over the course of the last several months, more than a year now since his injury, providing everything that they have asked for. But again, they refused to do the right thing, and so this was his only avenue. Travis continues to heal. You know, before this, he was a very active person. He was a triathlete. He was a dancer, runner, swimmer. He is now able, again, to walk without assistance, but he still can't jog, he can't run. Obviously, he has hardware in his legs. He has got back into the pool, and so he's trying every single day to get back to some sense of normalcy. But frankly, as he and I discuss, it will never be the same. His body will never be what it was before, just by virtue of the hardware that he has.